I ordered some 24-ounce tapers, and they are really an odd size. You can see them here next to the 20-ounce skinny. And so when I go to print the design for these, as you can see on the right, you can get it close, but my printer only does 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14 or 8.5 by 17. Anyway, my issue is the 8.5. When I print out a full tumbler wrap, I am having issues. I can't get a full coverage, as you can see from the top line and the bottom line where the arrows are pointing. There just is no way with an 8.5 by 11 sheet to get full coverage. So then I tried an 8.5 by 14, and I still couldn't get the full coverage that I needed. I bought a case of 25 of these tumblers, and so I really wanted to figure out a good process. As you can see on this other tumbler where I have the arrows, I thought, well, I'll leave a little bit of white on the top and a little bit of white on the bottom. Well, I still wasn't able to get a good template where the white is actually even around the whole tumbler. So that wasn't working for me either. I've really been loving these 3D tumbler wraps, and so I have a Creative Fabrica All Access account. So that's where this image came from. But as you can see that there is gray around the outside, and you can't put this on a tumbler when it's not going to fit because that gray will show. And so I thought, well, there's got to be a way to do this. I decided this is the image that I want to remove my background on. I don't want to have any gray or anything in the background that's going to make a distinct line on this tumbler. So I'm going to remove the background here. And as you can see, it removed it nicely, took everything out. So now I'm going to download this. And then we will bring that image into our Word document. So now we'll start designing. So the first thing we're going to do in our Word document is we're going to go to Layouts. And because this is the size that it is, we're going to go to Landscape. And I have found that an 8.5 by 11 just is a little bit too small. So I'm going to do an 8.5 by 14, and I'm going to set my margins to 0. So now we're going to start inserting our images. So the first one I'm going to insert is the one that we just removed the background on. So we're going to insert this one. And when it comes in, we're going to go to this layout option, and we're going to do through so that we can move it where we want it on the page. That allows us to move it. You can also do it up here, wrap text and through. So now we can make this the size that we want it, and we can move it around. So I'm going to center this nicely, and it's the 8.5 by 11 on these 24-ounce tapers that is the problem. I'm sorry, the 8.5 inch. The 11 inch you could get by with if you had some white on the top and the bottom, but it's the 8.5 that is the problem. It's the height. When you get it thicker on the top, you just can't quite make it all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this a little bit more. And now I'm going to start bringing in some backgrounds. We're going to insert some fun pictures here. We're going to bring in some of these pastel brush strokes. And again, you're going to want to wrap and through. Sit here, wrap and through so that we can move it where we want it. We can stretch it out this way. So I'm going to stretch it out. I don't want it that big, but you can get the idea from what I'm doing here. And now I am going to go to picture format here, and I'm going to send that backwards. See how nice that looks now? And now I'm going to go to this image and see if I can find some artistic effects here. No, but you get the idea here. You can do different things with this. I don't like that, so I'm going to take that out, but you can go to transparency. You can go to artistic effects, you can go to color, but for now, I'm going to leave it at this, and I'm going to insert some more of these pastel backgrounds. I'm not real keen on that peachy color. So I know I had some gray. Here's a good gray one, purplish gray color. So now when that comes in, again, we're going to do the wrap. Sorry, the wrap and the through, because then we can move this anywhere that we want to. And as you can see, we can stretch this out. It's not being nice to me today. Give it some time here and let it stretch itself out. It is just being not nice. I don't know why. Come on, come on. It's taking its sweet time because it's a good size image and it just takes some time to do its work here. All right, so now you get the idea of what I'm doing here anyway. And I'm going to send this backwards too. And kind of like that. Right now we're going to insert some more. Insert some other things here. I don't like these brush strokes and I don't like this glitter, but I really do like these brush marks in the background. So I'm going to pull in this green one and again wrap and through. Come on. My computer's being slow today. All right, so that's too big that way. Like this. I don't want it that wide. I don't want them touching in the back. So I'm going to shrink this down a little bit on both sides. And I'm going to pull this down because I want to get a hold of this. I want to turn this one a little bit. And then I'm going to send it backwards and see what it looks like. I like that. I like that better. Yeah, so it's coming along. You see how it's layering up here? I might bring the green in the front of this one even. Bring forward. Nope, not that one. But you get the idea of how you can move things around here. So there, now I got the green where I want it. So you can move these and change the position. You can change the layout. And this is going to give you a unique design that's all your own. And it's going to fill that area on that tumbler so that we don't have so much white, but yet we've got this 3D look going here. So I am going to drag this one out a little bit here. It gives it more of that 3D look and without us trying to get an exact fit on that tumbler. So I think this looks nice. So I am going to go to my printer options. I'm going to go to print and it's going to come up and I have to choose the correct printer. I'm using an Epson EcoTank 2760 and that's where my problem comes in, is because I can only print 8.5. On that one size, I can only go 8.5. I can go up to, I don't know, I heard 43 inches long. I've never printed anything that long. I usually do 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14. So, and also you're going to have that edge. You can see that edge down here a little bit on the bottom. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change that because I do not want that sticking out on the bottom. I want that not to be touching. It may come out on the top too. So now back to file and print again. And now you can see that all those brush strokes are nice and clean. There's nothing cut off on the bottom here. So now I'm going to go into my printer properties. Again, like I said, this is my Epson EcoTank 2760 that I've converted over to Sublimation with Sublimation ink. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the paper type to Premium Presentation Paper Matte. And the quality is going to be high. Then I'm going to go under More Options. And under Image Options, I'm going to emphasize more and emphasize thin lines. I'm going to hit OK here. I'm going to take high speed off. And I am going to be mirroring this image. Now, because there are no words on here, I wouldn't have to mirror it, but it would be backwards. So get in the habit of mirroring everything. So now I'm going to hit OK here, and I will go and print this. So now I'm back again because I did decide to try a couple of these picture effects here. And I went in and I went to shadow, and I just clicked on the first one here, outer shadow. And as you can see, I'm going to go backwards and forwards on this so that you can see it. Watch the shadow effect on the flowers. Okay, off and now back on. Do you see that shadow effect? That shadow effect is going to even enhance the 3D look. Again, off and on. So I am going to leave it on. So I am going to save this again and going to my printer again, and I'm going to print this. And now it's going to have that little bit of a shadow effect on there that I think is going to help our 3D look a little bit. And here's my printer. Like I said, it's an Epson EcoTank 2760 that I've converted over to sublimation printing by adding sublimation ink. Yeah, I'm very excited about adding that shadow effect back in. I can really see the depth on this as it's printing. Yes, this printed really, really nicely. You can see the shadow effect making it look more 3D. So this is fresh out of the printer here, and it is very crisp and crystal clear. I trim my images down. I try to avoid any excess ink that the paper may have picked up in the printer. And so I trim my images down as far as I possibly can to put them on. I use HTV Ront sublimation paper, as you can see from this image, and then I pull the image as tight as I can, and then I tape it with heat-resistant tape. I use shrink sleeves in my air fryer, and so you want to make sure that any metal that is exposed you want to cover. So here I'm just covering it with a plain piece of copy paper, and so I tape that shut before I put it in the shrink sleeve. And this is what my shrink sleeves look like. And these are a few things that I'm going to be using for this process. On the right there, you can see my heat gun that is going to be shrinking my sleeve down. And I always wear heat-resistant gloves and a heat pad to set my tumbler on when I take it out of my air fryer. So the shrink sleeve that I am using is for a 30-ounce tumbler. Now I did that intentionally because a 20-ounce did not fit, so I ordered some bigger ones. So now I'm firing up my heat gun, and I'm going to hit this, and you'll watch it shrink down. Now unfortunately I can't use my hand because I'm videotaping, but you get the picture here. It does shrink down to what we want it at. This is the air fryer that I use. It is a basket type air fryer. I took the basket out, but I still use the container. So I am going to fire up my air fryer. I'm going to preheat it for 1 cycle. So we're going to run these at 385 degrees for 4 minutes. So I am going to run a cycle just to preheat my air fryer. Here you can see the basket is removed out of my air fryer drawer, and I have lined it with silicone pads so that when I put my tumblers in there or my glass cans or whatever I'm doing, that they do not hit the edges. It's just to protect them. Usually on my tumblers and my glass cans, I do 385 degrees for 4 minutes, and I rotate after minute 3. But I have found that these 24-ounce, they will get a hot spot if you go 3 minutes. So I actually rotated them after 2.5 minutes. So I did a 4-minute cycle, but I rotated after 2.5 minutes. And here I've pulled it out of the oven, and I've taken the shrink shrink wrap off and the protective paper that I had under that. So now it's just to reveal the image.
Wow, this is fresh and hot right out of the wrapper. Got a glare on here, but it's looking very, very good. It turned out really nicely.
These are some rubber bottoms that I purchased, and I put this on all of my tumblers because for a couple different reasons. The first reason is it has the care instructions on the bottom, so you don't have to worry about telling people the care instructions because it's on the rubber bottom. And also it stops the noise. When you're setting your tumbler down on a table or somewhere, it's got a clink clinkety sound. Well, now it's very smooth, and it also stops it from slipping.
I have a slight glare from the window here, but I'll turn this so that you can see. So we don't have to worry about those nasty lines. We don't have any. Top and bottom turned out so well. Again, this one has two covers. It's got this cover, and then it's also got the straw cover, and I love how this turned out, and you don't have to worry about matching everything up. As far as tapers go, I think this is a win. Again, this is a 24-ounce taper, so it's a very odd shape.
Here I've kind of got a close-up image taken from a couple different viewpoints. Thank you for watching my video. Links for items that I've used is in the description below, and please subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.